being a content creator or like a social media personality is very stupid. I started social media in China when I was back in college. There's just no other way for me to prove that I can do this. Hey guys, welcome to Victoria May's channel. Today I invited my good friend Jeff to ask me questions on me and my career. So he will be asking questions about my job, what do I do, and then just the general questions that you're interested at.
Okay, cool.
To be honest, he's not interested in any of...
I'm super interested. So tell me about yourself. The first time we met, it was through Asian Cultural Club, which is a club you started.
Asian Creatives Club.
This is going great.
This is not the real friend here. So I have a community organization in New York City called Asian Creatives Club, which we're just trying to have fun with my fellow Asian friends.
Like me.
Basically, in the creative and tech industry, I would say.
Yeah. Through meeting you there, you told me that you do a lot of social media. You have a lot of like cool content online. You graduated from Berkeley, moved to New York, right? So why did you want to do social media? What started the whole journey around that?
Good question. So basically, I started social media in China when I was back in college. So that was in 2019. I don't know if you guys know, like the Chinese YouTube called Bilibili.
Yeah.
And then that's where like I did my first kind of like long form videos on Bilibili, and I went viral and I got like 300K views through that video alone. But I just stopped doing it because I thought that being a content creator or like a social media personality is very stupid. you know, especially for people who, I don't want to say this, but like especially for people who went to good schools, who thought they're elites. Even though I was doing pretty good in the Chinese social media, and I also did Red Note, which is also the Chinese version of Instagram. And then at the time, it was actually the perfect time to do Bilibili, like the Chinese YouTube and the Chinese Red Note. If I continued doing that, I would earn a lot of money, but I did not. So
you don't like money?
No, because it's just like I overlooked this profession.
Yeah.
I realized that I missed out a huge opportunity, which I was fucking stupid, like looking back at it. Yeah.
And then you started making content on TikTok, Instagram. And how do you feel like the age of content has changed?
It's definitely getting harder and harder because right now TikTok is trying to charge you money instead of like trying to make you go viral.
What do you mean charge you money?
It's like they want you to put ad money into it.
Yeah.
So it's not like they want to give so much traffic to one influencer or like a specific brand so they can go viral. And then TikTok can use it as a great example to show that other people that you can come to my platform and you can monetize.
Now you're working at MoonPay. Maybe introduce a little bit about what you're doing there and how has that changed your view on your own personal content creation, now sitting at the other side of the table from more of a brand marketing lens.
You're such a good host. You're very good at asking questions. So basically, I don't want to be a full-time content creator because I don't want to sell myself as a product or sell my life as a product. I built myself a huge platform where it proves to my current company that I'm a very, very good content creator. I'm always trying to figure out what industry that I want to be in. And crypto and FinTech just feels like a great industry for me to be in with my backgrounds because I study economics, I study risk management, I did content creation, and then crypto is also, for people who don't know about the crypto industry, social media is a huge part for our marketing. So that's why it all kind of like fits and every single dot's connected and then just kind of like leads to where I am. And I feel like this is why I'm starting to do the YouTube video, trying to explain like how I get from a short form content creator who's doing Chinese food and Chinese culture suddenly to a girl working in crypto and FinTech. You know, it's kind of weird to see that transition, but the thing is like, it happens over like almost like 3.5 years. So I feel like there's a lot of like thought process into it. And then it's always about like figuring out what I really want to do in life.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting journey because essentially the content you were making before, you said is less lifestyle. It's more about Chinese culture and the general concept of that and sharing that with other people. And then moving into crypto, it seems like two very different things. But really the common thread is like how powerful social media content is and distribution is really important, not just for our personal brands or sharing content, but also for brands to get out there and increase their user base, increase their monetization, get out there and be competitive in the market. Now that you've seen marketing and distribution and using content from a brand's perspective, from where you're working right now, how has that changed your perspective on your personal content creation?
I would say that they're all the things that I am genuinely interested. Like all kinds of like the topics, for example, Chinese culture or my life as a Chinese content creator or Chinese international students in New York City. They're all parts of my life. And I feel like right now I'm just adding like who I do on a daily basis, which is like what kind of industry do I work in, and then what I'm doing, and then who am I, instead of this Chinese girl who's always talking about how to date a Chinese tips for dating Chinese man, Chinese girl, this all of like interesting and funny content.
So how do I date a Chinese girl?
You date too many Chinese girls. Tips for dating Chinese girls.
Princess treatment.
And then I just feel like I want to do a longer form video where I get to share what I've learned throughout the years. I want to show people lives of young professionals in New York City who are also figuring out things.
Yeah, I think there's actually a pretty big gap there because everyone is interested in advancing their own career, figuring out their life. A lot of the professional content, I would say, is on LinkedIn, right? Which is a much more, I would say, professional network, and it's a little bit more high polish, more text-based content versus video-based content. And there's really an opportunity for more like raw, authentic content about the professional world. Because there's this meme that's like, if you go on LinkedIn, you're going to feel terrible about yourself after 5 minutes, right?
3 things I've learned after I got hit by the car.
Yeah, a lot of people would say you're very successful, but I think you're very ambitious and you want to do more and more. So I'm curious, because you started from a pretty non-traditional career path, I would say. Like, you started off doing content, kind of like taking advantage of the opportunity that content is really influencing culture and changing culture and being a part of that movement, and now moving into a startup. How do you think about like the different opportunities in your career? How do you think about which opportunities to go for?
Yeah, I think first of all, I'm a Chinese international student. So I was born and raised in China. Yes, I do live a pretty like privileged life that I'm very grateful for. But the thing is, like, I don't know anyone in the US. Like, I don't really know anyone who's like in power in the US, who worked big corporate here. And we have a visa problem. So basically you have to do like H-1B or like those student visas, like work visas. So it's really hard for Chinese international students to work in the marketing industry. There's just no other way for me to prove that I can do this, like the social media marketing, besides building up my own platform. And then I think the second thing is, like, when I was at college, I also did my own startup in China. I was working with some engineers. Then I realized that I cannot code. I don't really think that I'm needed in this company because I don't really have any like core skill set. This place doesn't need you. That experience really gave me this idea that, I should develop my own social media platform, or otherwise that I will get replaced if I want to work in tech or like a startup environment.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because similar to how a lot of companies are looking for engineers or product builders, they think about, okay, if you come from a prestigious university background, that's a really good signal. But always the caveat to that is, but if you're a founder who proved to build a company and had 10 million ARR, then that's even better, because that's literally the result we're looking for versus the process. So for you, it's like to prove your marketing chops, just actually get views, actually build content, build in public, and build proof points around your ability to get views, right? I think you have a very entrepreneurial muscle. And right now, a lot of people are talking about how AI is changing everything. Everyone's using AI tools every day. How do you see AI tools affecting the content creation space?
It's very interesting. So I just wrote a Twitter yesterday. So I said that if you treat yourself like a tool, you're a tool. So I think the key mindset here is that never treat yourself as a tool. Never think that you will get replaced by the AI tool. Because I think the most important skill set at this day and age is actually building up your intuition. And I feel like for content creation, I would say that it's hard to replace because video editing is so personal. That's why I feel like social media and also this entire influencer industry are not going anywhere. Because it's so personal. Like, everyone has a different story of their own. Stories always last. Tools come and go. Great stories are always there, according to Steve Jobs.
We believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
If you like this video, comment, subscribe, ask me any questions on career, content creation, and don't ask me anything about, I don't know, like anything besides that, because I have no idea. Yeah?
How to date Chinese boy.
Okay, anyways, bye!
See ya.